I was born in New York City, but then I moved to Oakland, California when I was 2 years old. So the New York transition was different because, on the West Coast, like, you have grass, you have streets, you have trees, like, you can say hello, goodbye to people and they don't think you're selling something. Like, it's not the same, I was a kid, I got to play, it was fun, like, you treat your neighbors like family. Like, that's what I was used to in Oakland, California. But, like, moving to New York City as a 13-year-old is totally different. In California, I was driven everywhere. Not because I'm spoiled, but just like you need a car, right? You need a car to get around. They drove me to school every single day, even though my school was 4 blocks away. Like, the sense of direction to get to 4 blocks is not that hard, but 4 blocks, you could get lost, I don't know. So I moved here when I was 13, and everybody in New York City can fend for themselves. And so my mother just threw me out there. Like, the 3rd day of school, she's like, all right, get on the 2 train, you get to your middle school, you can do that, And they didn't tell me that there were, bullies on the subway train that was the same age as you. Like, bullies when I was growing up was, my family, cousins, grandmother, old lady on the porch. Those were my bullies. I didn't have bullies on the train. So I get on the train to go to school by myself, and I was just stressed out because I was like, oh, this is going to be fun. Not really, because it's busy subway train. So I get on and I sit down, and automatically when I sit down, there's this group of kids and they're laughing at me, and I'm like, oh, woe is me. But it was really because I had on these sneakers that were called bikies when they should have been Nikes. Now on the West Coast, bikies was that hot shit, but no, it definitely was not hot in New York City. You need Nikes, not bikies. So they were making, they're like, what is the bikies? Where'd you get those from, Sears? And I'm like, yes, I did get those from Sears. They were on sale. My auntie got them for my birthday. Why are you making fun of me? They're bikies. They're hot. They match my jeans and everything. I was like, you match my barrettes? Why are you clowning right now? It's just ridiculous. So I'm on a train, and I get clowned for at least 12 stops. That's how it felt. It felt like 12 stops. It was only 5, but it felt like 12. And I get off the train. My school was in Greenwich Village. So you get off on 14th Street. And that's a busy, stop anyway. So I'm getting off, and as soon as I get off, I'm like, I don't know how to get to my school. I really don't. So I'm going up and down the train station. I don't know which exit to get off. And you think going up and down the train station is okay, but not when you have this thing that's supposed to be a backpack, but it's luggage. And you're tripping literally everyone, because you're like, I don't know where I'm going, where am I going? And I'm tripping and everyone in New York was over me. They were just like, someone get this kid out of here. So finally, I get out of the train station, and I'm on 14th Street, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I started crying. Because on the West Coast, when a kid is crying on the street, people run. And they run to you, and they're like, what's wrong? When a kid is crying in New York City on the street, they're like, whose kid is that? Well, who cares? They just, a kid crying, that's every day. I was like, somebody help me. No one can. So I'm sitting on the corner for 15 minutes. I'm already late for school, and I have this luggage, and I look crazy. My barrettes are falling off. I look nuts. And so this older white dude comes up to me, and he's like, what's wrong? I can't get to school. I don't know what to do. And he's like, well, wait, what's your school called? I was like, I'm not supposed to talk to strangers. And he's like, well, how are you going to get to school? I was like, okay, you're right. So I tell him my middle school. He's like, oh, that's 4 blocks away. It's like, oh. So he walks me to school. That was nice of him, right? But in my neighborhood growing up, if an old white man is walking you to school, he's kidnapping you. No one gave a damn that I was hysterically crying, and this older white man is like, yes, come with me. We're on Law and Order SVU. Every case I've seen, the kid was in a van with candy corn. No one gave a damn. I was oh, she must be adopted. She's adopted. She's upset, So, that sucked. But I got to school. That was awesome. And then the other situation It's like on the West Coast, like you can definitely play in the street. You know, you have bikes, big wheels, rollerblades, like climb trees, fences, and not because the cops are running after you. Like you can climb fences as a kid. Like that's a normal thing. Like New York City, that's not your. When you're running in the streets, it's because somebody's chasing you. It's different. But you're 13. Like you need to have like fun. You need to play. And I had my rollerblades, and I was like, I want to rollerblade. But it's like dangerous in New York City. You can't just rollerblade in the city unless you want to die. Like, there's no right of way for a rollerblader. It's like, oh, you're going to die, like, for sure. So I live in Harlem, and my mother was like, you can't rollerblade because it's not safe outside, and you can't rollerblade in the house because I just got these floors waxed. And you can't rollerblade in the hallway because you just can't. And so I was like, I'm going to rollerblade. So she went to the corner store, and I'm like, I got like 10 minutes to rollerblade in the hallway, up and down, you know? And she locked the door, and I was like, okay, got my rollerblades on. I'm a kid. I'm like, I'm going to rollerblade. I'm going to kill it for 10 minutes, and I'm going to get all this energy out. So I'm rollerblading back and forth, and I'm killing it, having fun, and then I hear the elevator come, because I know she's coming up. So I think that the door is open.
Oh.
No, slam lock. That's New York City. Like when the door is locked forever. Like growing up as a kid, like the door, if you don't lock it yourself, like, you know, anybody could just come in. But it was slam locked. And then Sydnee Washington came in, and she was not having it. She was not having it. I came inside, and she gave me a really good whooping. Like, somebody should have called the cops. But in New York City, when you're beating kids, no one cares. They're like, yeah, beat her ass. She was making all that noise in the hallway. Like, trying to watch my stories. She's fucking up my stories. Beat her ass. Like, so annoying. So then transitioning to that story, I still wanted to rollerblade even after I was traumatized with, you know, getting beat for rollerblading in the hallway. I was like, that's nothing. Like, whatever. So I go and finally rollerblade outside, because that's what kids do. But I had to walk the dog Sheba, right? Sheba, we rescued this dog. I don't even call it rescuing. We actually should have gave that dog back to the ASPCA. Sheba went through a lot with us. So this is summertime, and I'm like rollerblading with Sheba. I'm like, I'm going to rollerblade and walk the dog at the same damn time. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get both chores in and have a good time. Yeah, you shouldn't do that in Harlem. That's, first of all, they're like, why are you rollerblading? Like, that's not... I was the only little black girl in the streets, like, with a dog and rollerblades. They're like, is she low-key white? Like, why is she... like, who trusted this black chick with rollerblades and a dog? That's impossible. So, I'm rollerblading, like, aimlessly around the street, and Sheba is, like, a rescue dog. So Sheba is scared of, like, random noises, like anything, like whistles, birds, like black people. Like, Sheba is scared. Sheba's scared. So I'm rollerblading in the street with Sheba, right? Killing it. Then the fire truck comes, scares the shit out of Sheba, and she starts taking off. And I have her on. I was like, if I lose this dog, somebody's gonna die. But if I stay on to this dog, I'm gonna die. So I'm with the rollerblade, and I let Sheba go. And she goes underneath the truck. Thank goodness, I don't know what kind of, like, dog camp she went to. She made it through. She made it through the fire truck. Like, it was crazy.
Wow.
Good for me, right? No. Got my ass beat for rollerblading with the dog. I was like, Sheba, you were supposed to be on my side. Like, how did you let that happen? And I got beat again. So I don't rollerblade anymore. That's not happening. Yeah, it sucks. It's just like, you want to be a kid. You can't be a kid in New York City. You just can't rollerblade. You can't be on the train. Like, that's just, you know. And as an adult now, like, seeing him do that art, that's art. But on the train, it's like that. I don't see art all the time. I'm like, oh my God, put my head down. I don't want to see any of this. And now, seeing that, I'm like, wow, I wonder if I could do this on the train. Like, I'm wondering, no. That's like,
I'm from the Bay Area, too.
You're from the Bay Area, too?
Yeah.
Oh my God, no wonder you're so low-key. That's awesome. Like, I don't know, it's just... So, in the summertime, I would go across the street to the playground, and the sparklers would be on. Sprinklers. That's, sparklers, sorry. Sprinklers, they were on. And you would think, like, going out on the sprinklers, like, that would unify us and make it so much fun and everybody loves us. It's like, no. Mm-mm. I went in the sprinklers and I was like, oh, I seen this on TV. I seen people splash people with water. I don't know, maybe I was watching the Lifetime channel. I don't know. I saw the kids splash each other. So I did that in the sprinklers. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to make a friend like this. So I splashed this girl with the water. And she's like, why are you trying to get me wet? I'm like, you're already wet. We're in the sprinklers. This don't make no damn sense. I was like, but, we're having fun. I hit her again with the water because I was like, she can't really be upset. Like, she's 13. Oh, yeah, she was upset. She was really upset. And then her mother came. And then her 2 cousins came. And then some random homeless people that I'd even never seen before came. And they all were yelling at me, like, why are you wetting her? Where's your mother? I was like, I don't know. I wish she was here right now. Like, yeah, I didn't get beat up or anything, but they definitely scared me, so I didn't go in the sprinklers anymore. I didn't rollerblade. I didn't go on the train. So most of my childhood in New York City was me staying in the house, like talking to myself in the 4 corners of my house. Because you can't be a kid in New York City. It's just too hard. I'm glad that I'm an adult and I'm using other people's money to have fun now, so it's good. Not you guys, but yeah, that's it. Thank you. I'm Sydnee Washington.